for the next 60 minutes, the continuing story of Another World. The first part of Another World is brought to you by Lilt, the only one with gripper sponges, the easier way to beautiful hair.
Dress. What do you want this typewriter?
Well, somewhere where my typing doesn't disturb you and Ada.
Oh, that's no problem. We're delighted that Jeff arranged for you to do that work at home.
So am I. I guess upstairs in my room.
Won't that keep the babies from napping?
Well, I can keep the door closed.
Then you won't be able to hear them.
Yeah.
I tell you what, why don't you use the kitchen for the time being until I have time to fix up an area in the living room for you?
Okay, thanks.
I think that Corey wants his mommy to feed him.
Is he fussing?
A little bit.
Okay, I'll take care of him.
Okay. Got your letter to Tim?
Oh, yeah. I hope he's as pleased to get it as I am to write it.
Why shouldn't he be pleased?
Well, he may not like to be reminded of the fact that he embezzled those securities from Steve Frame.
Oh, well, I'd be glad to hear that Alice has dropped all the charges against him.
Who knows what he's up to now?
You think he might be in some more trouble?
Well, Bert didn't tell him he didn't tell Bert very much in that letter.
Maybe there wasn't much to tell.
He probably still resents me for arresting him on those charges.
You did what you had to do.
I keep remembering his face when I brought him in. The things he said to me.
Don't think about it anymore.
It was an ugly shock for both of us.
Well, you can talk it all out when he comes home.
He may not want to come back from South America to face me.
Well, I hope he's grown up enough to know that he brought all that trouble on himself.
Well, we won't know until we hear from him.
Well, that's why you've been down in the dumps the last couple of days, huh?
Oh, partly.
What's the rest of it?
Oh, nothing.
You're hiding something from me.
I promised I wouldn't say anything to you about
promised who?
Rachel.
What about Rachel?
Well, she was supposed to talk to you herself.
Yeah, well, she didn't, so out with it.
Well, I guess that you'll find out sooner or later.
She and Mac have another fight?
It's worse than that.
How could it be worse than that?
He walked out on her.
Mac?
Yeah.
Walked out on her?
Yeah. I guess he couldn't cope with it anymore.
When was this?
A couple of days ago,
After she got back from teaching that class in Chicago?
while she was gone.
Well, she was gone. Well, when did you see Rachel?
Well, she came by my office and told me the news.
Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I told you that I promised her that I wouldn't.
Then why didn't she tell me?
She's afraid that you're going to tell her I told you so.
She should have listened to me in the first place.
Well, she didn't, and she's not in any state to listen to anybody right now.
Yeah, well, she will listen to me.
Are you going over there right now?
She needs me.
Honey, wait a while.
It's not going to get any better if we wait a while.
You know, honey, you have a tendency to come down hard on her. And she's in no mood for that right now.
Oh, well, I've seen her through things like this before. I can see her through it again.
Now, look, she's hurt. She doesn't know what she's saying.
Yeah, okay, I know. Tell Clarice I'll be back soon, okay?
Mac.
Hi, Gil.
Well, come on in.
You mean I'm still welcome?
You're kidding.
Well, Ada rushed off in the car without even waving at me.
Well, I know, she was upset.
She knows about Rachel and me.
Yeah, I just told her. She's on her way over there now.
Wait a minute, you mean Rachel didn't tell her what happened?
Well, Rachel hasn't spoken to Ada since you left her.
Well, how'd you know?
Well, Rachel came by the office the other day. That's how we know that you're at the Bayview Towers.
What do you mean, Gil?
I called the hotel, and they told me that you were registered there.
Oh. So then Rachel does know where I am.
Yeah. Don't you want her to?
I was just curious that she hadn't gotten in touch with me.
Have you tried to get in touch with her?
Well, you know, things have been very disorganized since Teresa died.
Oh, yeah, I know. Ada and I are very sorry to hear about that.
Iris has been in such a state, and I've spent most of my time with her.
Well, I'm surprised that Rachel hasn't tried to get in touch with you.
Did she say she would?
Well, no, but she was very anxious to find out where you were.
Well, if she has called, she didn't leave a message.
Well, maybe she couldn't face it.
I'll tell you, Gil. I just think my moving out didn't matter that much to her.
Oh, that's not true, Mac. This whole thing has affected her very badly. Look, Mac, why don't you call her, huh?
I'm not sure we have anything to discuss anymore.
That isn't true. Call her.
Gil, I just don't know how to deal with her when she always puts her career ahead of our marriage.
I think you might persuade her to change her mind.
Oh, I've tried to do that for months. Look where it's gotten us.
Is it all her fault?
How much do you know about it?
Well, she said that you told her that she had to choose between you and her sculpting.
Yeah, well, anyway, she's made her choice.
She didn't think that you really meant it, Mac.
She was counting on me backing down, like I've always done.
Well, maybe this time she'll back down.
I don't think so. Otherwise, she would have called me. Look, Gil, do you mind if we don't talk about it anymore?
Well, that's what I thought you came over here for.
No, I thought I'd talk to Clarice if she's here.
Oh, she's upstairs with young Corey.
Would you mind if I waited till she can come down?
I'll go up and get her.
Thank you.
You make yourself at home, huh?
Thank you.
Mac.
Hi there, Clarice.
Hi. Gil said you wanted to talk to me.
No, I just thought I'd come over and see how the two of you are doing.
Well, we're doing just fine.
Great.
Of course, Corey's a bit fussy today.
Maybe I shouldn't be taking you away from him then.
Oh, Gil can calm him down. You want some coffee?
No, thanks, I don't want it.
Well, have a seat.
Thank you. Well, now, how are your plans for the christening coming along?
Oh, well, I don't think I'm going to go through with it, Mac.
You've asked me to be the godfather.
Well, yeah, I know, but instead, I think I should have a private, small ceremony with you and Ada and just a couple of friends.
Now, why are you changing your plans?
I don't want people embarrassed because my baby doesn't have a father.
Oh, Clarice, your friends wouldn't even think of that.
Well, I'm not worrying about my friends.
Well, who are you worried about? Iris still?
Well, it's a mistake to antagonize her.
She is not concerned about you or your baby anymore.
Well, but she objects to you having given Coy the christening gown.
Wait a minute, Clarice. How do you know she objects?
Well, she came over the other day, and she tried to get the gown back.
She did what?
She said it was all a mistake, but Ada got rid of her.
Why would Iris do such a thing?
Iris doesn't want my baby christened in the same gown that you were baptized in.
Well, that is none of her business. Now, you go ahead with your original plans. I'll take care of Iris.
Olive, I have some correspondence that has to be typed up right away.
Okay, I'll send it right out to the typing service.
Well, doesn't Clarice do correspondence as well as the briefs?
No, Jeff decided that the service could handle the regular stuff.
And you take care of that, right?
Yeah, that way I can stay on top of it all.
I see. Now, Olive,
Yeah?
I was just wondering how your meeting with Ray went the other day.
Oh, well, Jeff and I are very pleased.
Well, then you reached a settlement?
Well, not exactly. We compromised.
Oh, what kind of a compromise?
Well, Ray's got to raise the money, so I decided to come down on my terms.
Well, it was very wise of you.
You know, there's one thing that I'm curious about.
What is it, Olive?
Well, can he force me to return to California?
As a condition of the settlement?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be a pretty hard provision to enforce.
You mean I wouldn't have to go?
I wonder that Jeff would even allow such a condition to be made as part of the settlement.
Well, he didn't. I was just asking out of curiosity.
Oh, well, I'm relieved to hear that. I wouldn't like to think about you leaving Bay City.
Well, I don't intend to.
You mean that?
Yes. I'm going to take the money that Ray settles on me and bring the boys to Bay City. I wouldn't think of leaving such a challenging job.
Hi, honey. You're not dressed.
Yeah, I know. I didn't feel like it.
What a mess this house is.
I didn't feel like picking it up.
Well, what's the matter with Beatrice? That's her job.
I gave her the day off.
Well, what's this laundry doing scattered all over the place?
I don't know. I guess I brought it up from the laundry room.
Well, I'll help you.
No, you don't have to.
I can take the stuff down to the kitchen.
No, come on, Mom. Don't do that.
Listen, why don't you go upstairs and get dressed, and I'll talk to Mr. Brooks and have him take us out for a ride in the country, okay?
He's not here anymore.
He's not.
No, he gave his notice the other day.
Well, where'd he go?
Home. To Ireland.
Just like that?
Everything's going wrong around here. Beatrice is acting strange. Rocky is in a terrible mood. Jamie stays away from me.
You're not helping things much, you know.
I'm hiding out till things get better.
Well, they won't till you pull yourself together.
I can't. I don't know what's going on with anybody around here.
Gil told me that Mac walked out.
He was gone when I got back from Chicago.
Why didn't you come over and talk to me about it?
I couldn't face you.
Well, we've been through worse times together.
You told me this would happen if I didn't stop the sculpture.
Oh, we don't have to go over all that now.
You were right, as usual.
Come on, everything will work out.
I don't think so. I think it's too late.
You really love Mac?
Yes.
Then it isn't too late.
He's walked out on me, Mom.
Well, he'll come back if he feels that you really want him to.
He knows I do.
Well, we can't know that unless you give up the sculpting.
I already have.
You have?
I'm not working at the studio anymore.
But did you tell Mac that?
No. I was going to when I got back from Chicago, but he's already gone.
Do you know where he is?
He's at the Bayview Towers.
Well, why don't you give him a call?
I have. He's never there.
Did you try him at the complex?
He doesn't seem to be there either.
Well, does he return your calls?
I don't leave my name.
Why not?
I don't know.
You do love him.
I just said I did.
Well, okay, then. Why don't you just get dressed and go to the hotel and tell him that you love him?
You think he'd listen?
Well, you don't know until you try. Okay? Now, just get dressed and go there and go to the hotel.
What if he's not there?
Well, wait until he is there. Now, come on, honey. Go on upstairs, and I'll try to pull this place together. Go on. Go upstairs and get dressed.
Have you seen Marianne around?
No. She's supposed to meet you here?
No, I was supposed to be at Willis's office, but it's closed today.
How come?
He and Gwen had to go memorial service for Mrs. Lamont.
What happened?
She died of heart failure last week.
Oh. That's too bad. She was a nice lady.
I didn't really know her that well. Mr. Corey and Mr. Morrison were very upset about it, though.
So you've got the day off, huh?
I thought Marianne could spend some free time with me.
Don't let me keep you then.
Come on, don't be like that, huh?
I'm sorry. I'm just in a lousy mood.
Did you and Michael have a fight or something?
No, it's worse than that.
What are you talking about?
Alice found out we spent the night together in her house while she was away.
Who told her about that?
I don't know.
Well, how did you find out about it?
Michael's mother told us last night.
Is Alice mad?
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to her this morning with Sally and Alice.
She'll probably talk to you tonight.
Yeah, after she's discussed it with Ma.
You think she'd do that first?
If she does, I'll be back in Chadwell by next week.
Charlene won't let that happen to you.
Charlene will probably insist on it.
No, have you talked to her about it?
No. I haven't talked to anybody.
Well, explain to her that you just won't go back to Chadwell.
Daryl, she's been nagging me for months about what I've been doing. She's not going to listen to me now.
Listen, you just sit tight here. I'll go talk to Charlene, and I'll get back to you.
I'm sorry I haven't been more help to you, Iris.
I couldn't have gotten through this week without you, Daddy.
I just remember, Teresa didn't want us to be unhappy.
No. She wanted us to have a party afterwards, remember?
Yes. Maybe we'd better postpone thinking about that until later.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Well, I should go back to the hotel.
Aren't you going into the office?
I closed my office for today.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Well, I'll ring for Louise so she can bring us something.
No, dear, I don't want you to think. You really should get some rest.
Oh, Daddy, I'll try. I can't rest.
Neither can I.
Must be so dreary for you staying in a hotel.
Actually, my suite there is quite comfortable.
You'd be more comfortable here.
No, Iris.
You don't want to stay with me?
It's better the way it is.
I wouldn't interfere in your personal life.
I don't have a personal life anymore.
Don't you?
What do you mean?
Oh, never mind. It's not the time to go into that.
Iris, if you are insinuating something, come right out and say it.
Oh, Daddy, stop it. We're both in a bad mood, so let's just change the subject.
There is something I do want to talk over with you.
All right, I'm listening.
Why did you break your promise to me?
What promise?
To stop harassing Clarice.
I haven't seen or spoken to her since I made that promise.
But you are bedeviling her indirectly.
What are you accusing me of now?
You tried to get Ada to return the christening gown that I gave Clarice for her baby.
Who told you that?
Are you denying it?
No, I'm not.
Iris, why would you do such a thing?
Because you didn't mean to give that gown away.
I certainly did.
But, Daddy, you were baptized in that, and Dennis's firstborn should have it.
Iris, that is not your decision.
But surely you could lend the gown for the occasion and then get it back.
I want Corey to have it.
Why?
To make up to his mother for the misery you've caused her.
I've been punished enough for that.
Then don't you dare interfere with Clarice's plan for the christening again.
All right, Daddy.
Otherwise, you're going to force me to use that confession you signed admitting how you harassed Clarice in the past.
Why are you bringing that up now?
I see I still can't trust you to keep your promises to me.
Really surprised you would choose this day to attack me so mercilessly.
Oh, don't exaggerate, Iris. I just found out about your visit to Ada.
But on the day that we hold a service for poor Teresa...
Teresa would have agreed with me, you know.
She told me you swore you would never turn against me again.
Darling, I am not turning against you.
Well, then what is the point of this distasteful conversation?
I will not tolerate your tormenting Clarice any longer, Iris.
Oh, but you don't mind tormenting me.
Well, you're the one that causes that.
Now, Daddy, don't go, please.
You promised me you'll forget all about the christening gown.
I already have. Now, sit down again.
I'm sorry I had to bring it up today, but I couldn't go away without being sure that Clarice can go on with her plans for the christening.
Why are you so concerned about her?
She has enough to contend with, Iris, raising a child alone without worrying about your next move.
Well, I didn't mean to upset her by asking Ada to return the christening gown. That's why I went to Ada instead of directly to Clarice.
All right, you don't have to go on about it.
Well, I would like to prove to Clarice that she has nothing more to fear from me.
I think it would be better if you let me reassure her on that score. Now, I really do have some things I have to get done, darling. Louise will be with you till Dennis comes home from school. Now, you remember, Teresa believed that you could be a much better person if you tried. You've got to live up to her hopes for you.
I will, Daddy, with your help.
That's all I want, darling. All right, now? Don't cry.
I'll find love. But you meant nothing. I'm gonna I'm through. Well, I'm a fool for trying. I come through.
Hiya, sweetheart.
Oh, what are you doing home in the middle of the day?
Well, I only had one appointment this afternoon. They canceled, so I thought I'd come give you a hand. Got a brush for me?
You can't paint in your good suit.
What about coveralls? You got some coveralls there?
No, everything's over at the apartment.
Oh, all right. I'll go and change. I'll come right back.
No, wait a minute. I've got a better idea.
What is it?
I will go with you, and I'll fix us some lunch, and we can do this over the weekend.
Oh, honey, I thought that you wanted to get all of this finished today.
Well, I didn't know you were going to be free.
Well, look, why don't we just go ahead and get it done now, huh?
You don't want to be alone with me in the apartment?
We're going to be alone tonight.
Tonight you're going to find something else to occupy yourself with, Russ.
Look, will you cut it out, huh?
Russ, every single time I want to make love, you're too busy.
All right, Charlene, you've proved your point. You've made your point.
Yeah, and you're proving it, that's for sure.
Well, exactly what are you trying to prove?
I am trying very hard to make our marriage work, Russ.
You're trying too hard.
Oh, Russ.
It was a dumb idea, I suppose, for me to cancel my appointments in the first place.
You canceled them?
Yes, I thought that we just might have a pleasant afternoon together. But instead, I find I'm being put through some kind of a test.
Well, you're never going to pass the test if you won't even take it.
I'm going to go back to the hospital. There's always paperwork I can do.
Fine,
I'll see you tonight.
Fine. Well, I'm a fool for trying. Okay, baby.
Hi.
Daryl.
You look like you were expecting someone else.
Well, I thought Russ was coming back.
Oh, I just saw him in the driveway. Can I come in for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
It's a really nice house.
Yeah, thanks.
I hope you and Russ will be very happy here.
Yeah, so do I. Well, what do you want to talk about?
Molly,
Do you mind if we don't?
she needs you.
Oh, come on. No one can help Molly if she's not even going to listen.
I think she might do that now.
Daryl, Molly creates all of her own problems.
She doesn't mean to.
Well, maybe she doesn't mean to, but she sure gets mad at me if I try to butt into her life.
Do you care at all what happens to her?
Yes, I care a great deal what happens to her. Look, I tried talking to Molly when I found out what was going on with her and Mike, and she just threatened to run away, so I'm not going to get involved with it.
She might do that if Alice reacts the way you did.
Well, maybe it'd be great for Molly to go off on her own.
Are you kidding me? Molly is not half as grown up as she pretends to be.
Joe, why are you suddenly so concerned about Molly now that you've dropped her?
I didn't drop her.
You didn't?
She saw how much I cared for Marion, and she stepped aside.
Yeah, she ran right to Michael.
That's different.
Is it?
They're in love, Charlene.
Did Molly tell you that?
She doesn't have to tell me. I can see.
Well, Michael's a very nice boy.
He'd be good for Molly.
Yeah, he would at that. Well, I'll talk to Alice and see what I can do if she's upset.
Thanks.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but I really have to go on with this painting or I won't be able to get home in time for dinner.
Do you need some help?
Don't you have anything better to do?
Nope. I don't have any work today, and I don't have any classes till this evening.
Are you sure you'll be helpful? Sure. Here you are. The trim, the paint.
And now, part 2 of Another World.
John asked me to wait in here while he finished with a client.
Oh, fine. Come on in. I hope you don't mind, but I have to continue working.
Please do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Won't you sit down?
I think I'd rather stand, thank you.
Are you one of John's clients?
I'm his wife's aunt.
Oh, Mrs. Matthews.
Mm-hmm. How do you know?
Well, Mary Ann's talked a lot about you. I'm Olive Gordon.
I know who you are.
Obviously, Alice has filled you in on the details of the situation.
Alice doesn't have time to talk about people's lives.
Oh, well, perhaps she's too embarrassed. After all, she's spending a lot of time with a married man.
Why don't you just get on with your work?
Thank you. I will.
Is that John's personal account book?
Yes, it is. I take care of his personal accounts as well as his business accounts.
Well, you haven't wasted any time in moving into his private life, have you?
Oh, Liz, I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, John, Miss Gordon and I have just been getting acquainted.
Good. Well, what can I do for you?
I would like to talk to you alone.
Oh, all right, do you want to go into my office?
Oh, John, why don't I take my things in there? I have to check some of your personal records anyway.
All right, fine. Liz and I can talk in here.
Okay. Oh, it was really nice meeting you, Liz.
We'll talk again soon.
Well, I'm usually here during the day.
Liz?
You really have her look out on your confidential accounts.
Well, somebody has to do it now. The Jim is no longer here.
Is she trustworthy?
Why do you question it, Liz?
Well, I've heard some very disagreeable things said about her by a number of people.
Liz, look, I don't want to gossip about people that work for me.
All right, John. I didn't come to talk to you about that anyway.
All right, go ahead.
Have you seen Michael lately?
I'm afraid Mike doesn't make any effort to keep in touch with me.
Well, perhaps you should make the effort.
What brought this on?
You can't let him be taken in by the Ordway girl.
Wait a minute, Liz.
You shouldn't get so involved in your own concerns that you forget your responsibility as Mike's father.
Liz, the last thing I want to do is to get involved in my son's personal life.
Well, maybe you should before it's too late.
What are you driving at?
Iris Carrington saw Mike and Molly in a very compromising, intimate situation.
You better explain that, Liz.
Molly was in her night clothes. Michael was partly dressed, as I understand it.
And Iris is spreading this story over the town.
Oh, yes, a great many people know about it now.
Who?
Alice and Pat, Charlene and Russ, everyone but you.
You couldn't wait to tell me.
No one is trying to protect Mike, keep him from getting trapped by that girl.
You don't know that that's for sure.
I know, Molly. John, you have to have a serious talk with Mike before this goes any further.
Michael doesn't pay any attention to me now, Liz.
Oh, of course he will.
No, he's been very hostile to me ever since I tried to block Pat's plans for divorce.
You can't abdicate your responsibility the way that Pat has since she's turned to Dave Gilchrist.
Well, I better talk to Pat about it before I approach Mike.
That's a good idea. I'm glad you thought of that.
I hope you don't mind my dropping by.
That's all right.
I brought you some sketches you left at the studio.
Well, I won't be needing those anymore.
Are you still giving up your work to placate Mac? Is that it?
It's probably too late for that.
Too late, why?
Mac has left me, Ken.
Does that surprise you?
Yes, it does. I thought he loved me.
That's not love.
Please.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you this so you know why I can't go on with this sculpture.
Well, you're wrong about that. I never understand. You need to be doing your work. You'll forget about Mac.
I don't want to forget about him.
Well, you may have to as it is.
I've got to forget about the career. That's what he wants.
You couldn't.
Oh, yes, I can. I was a fool to think anything's more important to me than Mac.
Rachel, listen to me.
No, I should have listened to Mac. He begged me not to go to Chicago.
Rachel, you're committed to that.
I am committed to nothing but my husband. I've told Gene that he's got to have another teacher teach that class.
Rachel, you are making a mistake.
Oh, Ken. What's the point? What's the point of being successful at anything if I can't share it with Mac?
Yes, Joe. Oh, no, that's perfectly all right. I'm expecting it. Yes, thank you. Ah.
Hello.
Hello. Come on in.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry to have interrupted you at home, but I wasn't able to reach anybody at your office.
Oh, the office is closed today for the memorial service for Teresa Lamont.
Oh, yes, I read about that in the papers.
Well, what's this urgent matter that you couldn't discuss on the phone?
Well, I thought we'd better talk in person about Mike's personal life.
Oh, it's about Mike.
Yes, I understand that you knew that he was spending his nights with Molly at Alice's while Alice was away.
Yes, Johnny told me that.
Why didn't you tell me about it, Pat?
Well, I didn't see any reason to. Particularly since Mike didn't want anyone to make an issue of it.
But, Pat, I am the boy's father.
Yeah, I know, John, I know. But he's not a child.
Well, obviously, he could have used some parental guidance.
Well, he's not living at home now. He's living in the dorm, and I guess it's not too shocking to find out that he wants the companionship of a girl.
I'm surprised you take this so casually.
Well, I didn't at first, John. I really didn't. But Mike talked to me and made me think about it.
You wouldn't have been this casual about it before we broke up.
John, you never objected to Glenda. It was pretty clear that he and Glenda were more than just friends.
He never flaunted his relationship with Glenda the way he seems to be doing this with Molly.
I don't think he's doing that with Molly.
Oh, you wouldn't admit it.
Well, what does that mean?
You've been flaunting your own relationship with Gilchrist for months now.
My relationship with Dave is respectable. Oh, wow, you're someone to talk. With your relationship or friendship with Olive. John, are you taking up with Ray's wife just to humiliate Alice the way you've been humiliating me?
Look, why don't we just stick to Michael and Molly?
Fine, let's just do that. All right, how did you find out?
Liz told me.
Oh, I might have known she'd run to you with that news.
I don't blame her. She's got the boy's future at heart.
She's meddling in everybody's lives as usual. That's why Dad had to ask her to leave his house.
She's no longer staying with Jim?
Oh, no, she's living with me. How do you like that? Well, it's not going to last, I'll tell you, if she continues to go on like...
Excuse me. Joan, I don't want to be interrupted.
John, it's all right. You might as well take the call. I'm too upset to talk to you.
He hasn't been in at all this afternoon? No, no message. Wait. Tell him Rachel called. And tell him it's very important that he return my call. Yes, he knows the number. Thank you.
Rachel?
I was just calling the hotel.
I heard you. What's the matter?
We have to talk.
Okay. But please, let's not argue again.
I don't want to either. Why didn't you call me?
I didn't think you'd be here.
I haven't gone anywhere.
Not even to the studio?
Especially not there. Is that really why you didn't call?
No. Because I couldn't bear to talk to you without seeing your face. Oh, darling, I missed you so terribly.
I missed you.
How are we going to solve this?
I've taken the first steps.
What steps?
I told Jean Connolly that I wouldn't be teaching the seminar in Chicago.
I'm glad you did, Rachel.
And I told Ken I won't be working at the studio anymore.
You really mean that?
I was wrong to foresee you.
No, we were both wrong, because we're both so strong-headed.
Well, one of us had to give in. I decided it was me.
Rachel, are you saying you're going to give up your career?
If that's what you want.
But it's not necessary to give it up entirely. We'll build your studio right here.
But you want a family, darling.
Well, can't you sculpt and have children, too?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You know, lots of women have careers and families at the same time.
But this one is going to hold off on the career until she's sure her marriage is secure.
You sure about that?
Positive. Now you can come home where you belong. What?
Rachel, I've got to tell you something before I can come back to you. Please, sit down.
Darling? Please don't go.
There's nothing to talk about.
You're wrong about
I
that.
could have just stayed at the office.
No, we're going to clear this up
Rachel,
right now.
I don't want to argue with you
Well,
anymore.
it's better than going on the way we have been.
I don't like you going behind my back to arrange our lives.
I wouldn't have to if you were more open with me.
Well, that's no excuse for confiding our most intimate problems to other people.
I haven't done anything you haven't done.
What's that supposed to mean?
Do you deny discussing our personal lives with other people?
What other people?
Pat Randolph.
You better explain what you're talking about.
I intend to.
I'm waiting.
Sit down.
Don't stall, Rachel.
A few more minutes isn't going to make much difference now.
I'm still waiting.
I overheard a conversation between you and Pat.
When was this?
The day you asked her to cancel our trip.
What did you hear exactly?
You were asking her questions about my relationship with Steve.
Well, I couldn't very well ask you about it, could I?
Why not?
I didn't want to embarrass you.
I've never hidden anything from you.
It's not a very pleasant subject of conversation,
Well,
though.
then why were you so interested in it?
I thought it would help me to understand something.
What?
Oh, it doesn't matter anymore.
Is it so difficult for you to tell me the truth?
There is nothing more to tell.
I know better than that. I want you to tell me what you told Pat.
What's that?
How long do I have to wait before you tell me we can't have children because you're sterile? It's true, isn't it? Why couldn't you tell me?
I couldn't believe it was the truth myself.
Darling. I know you're humiliated, but it isn't the end of the world.
Please, Don't dismiss it.
It's not going to affect my love for you.
You want to have a baby.
I want you more.
Yeah, but that may change.
Not if we don't let it.
Well, it's already colored our attitudes toward each other.
Not mine toward you. Are you telling me you don't care as much for me?
No, of course not.
Well, then what is it?
Well, I can't live up to being the kind of husband that you want.
Mac, look at me. You're everything I've ever wanted.
Oh, well, never say anything different than that.
All right. We'll just go from day to day, and we won't anticipate the worst. And then when you're ready, we'll talk about adopting a baby, okay?
Then everybody will know that I'm no longer man enough to give you a child of your own.
Nobody blames you for that.
You mean other people know about it?
A couple.
Well, who'd you tell?
Mom and Dave.
Why?
Because your secrecy was jeopardizing our marriage.
Well, you have jeopardized our marriage even more by discussing a very painful personal problem of mine with people I don't want to know about
I
it.
had to discuss it with somebody since you wouldn't tell me the truth.
I'm not going to be able to look them in the face anymore.
Well, you didn't have any trouble facing Pat.
Well, that's different.
I don't see how.
Well, you'll just have to take my word for it.
How could you tell her that and keep it from me?
I thought that she might help me to deal with it some way.
I'm supposed to do that.
Rachel, I didn't want to upset you. I didn't want to distress you unnecessarily.
What do you mean unnecessarily?
Well, I'm having treatments from the doctor to try to correct the condition.
Well, then we might not have a problem at all.
Well, we wouldn't have a problem if you hadn't started this adoption business and instead trusted me to try to handle it.
Oh, stop
Now,
it.
it's impossible for me to have any self-respect. You're letting everybody know I'm sterile.
What are you doing?
I can't stay here.
Where are you going?
I don't know. I'll spend the night in a motel and make plans tomorrow.
The last time you did this, it was months before you came back.
Well, maybe that was a mistake.
Don't say that.
I can't share my life with someone who humiliates me the way you've done.
I didn't mean to.
You had no right to tell anyone that I was sterile.
You had no right to keep it from me.
Well, it doesn't do any good to talk about it now.
I waited and waited for you to tell me.
I couldn't tell you.
But you could tell Pat.
You had no business eavesdropping on our conversation either.
That was not intentional.
How do I know that?
Because I say so.
Well, it was very coincidental, you know.
Are you accusing me of something?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time you've done something like that to get what you want.
Oh, I see. Now we're getting down to it. Is that why you went to talk to Pat about my past?
I told you I wanted to understand you better.
By talking with somebody who has no reason to like me?
She's always been very fair about you.
Well, I didn't realize I was on trial.
Oh, Rachel, it's impossible to talk to you.
I'm not going to let you shift the blame on me.
That's not what I'm doing.
Oh, yes, you are. You're trying to make me feel guilty because I accidentally heard you tell another woman what you should have told me.
I've already explained that to you.
It didn't make much sense.
Well, that's not necessarily my fault, is
no,
it?
of course it isn't your fault. My God, it's not your fault.
I could say the same about you.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you any longer.
We won't need the arguments. I leave the house. I'm leaving.
No, I'm leaving. This is your house.
I gave it to you before we were married.
Well, I'm giving it back to you.
We'll discuss that some other time.
I don't want to stay here any longer. Obviously, I should go back to where I belong.
And where's that?
With Mom. Obviously, I was a fool to think I could be even a little part of your grand life. Where's Nancy?
Oh, Helga took her back outside.
You should go home sooner.
Did you talk to Rachel?
I couldn't find her.
Did you look in the boathouse?
I looked all over.
Well, maybe she's resting before dinner.
I knocked at her bedroom door, and Max said she wasn't there.
What else did he say?
Nothing. He wouldn't open the door.
You think there's something wrong?
Maybe I shouldn't have butted in.
What did you do?
I made Rachel promise to talk to Mac about something.
Oh, maybe she hasn't done it yet.
I left her earlier, waiting for her.
Look, you stay here and I'll see if I can't find her.
Well, the only place I didn't check was Jamie's game room.
I'll start there first. Now, look, don't worry. They'll work it out.
I keep telling myself that, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Where were you? I took a walk along the bay. All by yourself? Yeah. Must have been a long walk. Well, I had a lot to think about. Did you, get everything straightened out? I'm not sure.
Look, I'll look after Nancy if you and your mother want to talk.
I'll be with you in a little while.
Don't hurry. Helga and I'll keep Nancy busy.
Could I stay with you for a while? You're really sure you want to? I don't have any place else to go. What happened? Mac's never going to forgive me for telling you and Dave that he's sterile. So you talked to him? It was terrible. He really hates me. Come on, it can't be that bad. You're both very upset. I took a long walk along the bay, Mom. And I thought about an awful lot of things, and it just got worse. Why don't you go up and talk to Mac again? He's locked the door. Well, wait till he opens it. He was packing when I went up to talk to him. He's leaving. I told him I would. Don't do it, Rachel. I'm not staying around here if he thinks I've betrayed him. You can't leave him like that. Well, he's going to go to a hotel if I stay here. He doesn't want to see me anymore. What did you say to him? Oh, I just asked him some questions that he couldn't answer. Like what? Like, why did he tell Pat something he couldn't tell his own wife? Do you, have the answer to that? I don't know. Are you jealous of Pat? No. I just don't want my husband confiding in her. Don't you trust her? I don't really think I can trust anybody except you. You used to talk like that when you were very young. Yeah, well, maybe I haven't changed as much as I thought. Yes, you have. Well, Mac doesn't think I have. Why? What did he say? Oh, he accused me of going back to my old tactics.
He didn't even know you then.
Yeah, well, obviously he's been talking with a lot of people who did.
Well, he never paid any attention to that stuff before.
Well, he's paying attention to it now.
Well, you have to face it with
No,
him.
I don't have to do anything. I'm too exhausted to go on arguing with him.
It'll be better when you get some sleep.
I can't sleep in this house. Mom, please, can I go with you? Please?
Rachel?
It's me, Mr. Corey.
Oh, hello, Sven. What do you want?
Helga sent me up to see if when you'd like dinner.
Well, I don't think I'll take anything this evening, thank you.
What about Mrs. Corey?
I can't answer for her.
Can I get you something?
No, thank you. Is, Mrs. Corey still here?
I haven't seen her.